Evening, good evening, good evening. We are on day 14. Day 14, we made it 14 days, 2 weeks on the journey to become wealthy. Day 14. It is December 15th. Today, the Fed did their thing. Good evening. It is December 15th, day 14 on the journey. The stock market shows some strength at the end of the day. All the uncertainty, they brought us down earlier today. But after I talked last night, we should have been looking for the bottom today. If we bought at the bottom, we came out on top. So good evening, good evening. The Fed did their thing today. We had talks all over. We had the Fed talking today. The Fed came out and said that inflation was higher than they expected. So they did some pullbacks on the interest rates and the debt ceiling and all those things, which was positive news for the market and for the economy. They were happy with the inflation rates, but they still said, hey, they're gonna do things to help so that it's not so high in 2022, and that we have some positive movement. Good news for us. Good news for us. We saw at 1 o'clock, around 1 o'clock, 1:15. Literally in the market start going green. Had been going red all day. I was down 5%. If you saw my live from earlier, you saw how bad I was down. I've come all the way up and made some money since 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock was a major turn for the market. Positive news on the futures. So let's check out the futures for the day. We're going to see where we landed at after all of that talk. The Dow futures. Let's turn it around. Dow futures, 0.04% up. S&P 500 futures, 0.08% up. NASDAQ futures, 0.10% up. Hey, it's better than the negative. We were seeing negatives this morning. Let's check out our stock heat map. If you checked out my video from earlier, you saw the stock heat map. We were red all over. Look at us now. We were red all over. We got some green now. We looking good now. Look at that. Y'all saw the technology sector earlier. It was all red. Financials actually did a back turn. People were throwing in money in the financials with expectations that the Fed would be dropping bad news. And then, so they were using financials to hedge that. So that the financials were actually up on yesterday and this morning. But once we got that good news, everything turned right back around, and money started going into other sectors. People started putting money into other sectors. That is great news. Everything is up. Well, I won't say everything, but majority of everything is up. Majority of everything came up following the good news in the stock market. So let's check out what we got next. Let's check out some of what they say about the Fed. Now, again, I went live earlier and showed y'all some of the things, some of the pre-market movers. I showed y'all some of the futures. I showed y'all Jerome Powell's speech and how they were answering some of his questions. So it's very good news. So we have an article: stock futures inch higher following Fed decision to aggressively wind down asset purchases. The U.S. stock futures were slightly higher Wednesday evening after the Federal Reserve signaled it would be aggressive on tapering and seized 3 interest rate hikes in 2022. Futures on the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained 0.1%. S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100 futures added 0.1% and 0.2%. So, and here we go. Remember, we talked about it. We were in the red. I mean, since last Friday, people were selling off in case bad news today. They didn't want to be caught holding the bag in case there was bad news today. So, stocks traded in negative territory throughout the regular session Wednesday and turned higher ahead of Fed Chair Jerome Powell's press conference in the afternoon at the conclusion of the 2-day Federal Open Market Committee meeting. The Dow added 383 points, or 1.08%. S&P 500 rose 1.63%, and the tech-heavy NASDAQ composite jumped 2.15%. It appears the Fed has successfully communicated this news ahead of time, and although the stock market moved higher during the press conference, the sectors leading the market, like utilities and healthcare, are both very defensive sectors and indicate some concern. So we just saw that the healthcare sector had come down, and we know why, because they were concerned. You know, people started taking money out of healthcare, and now they back in tech. Now they back in those big energy companies and all of those things that usually tend to be high growth stocks in the market. So those are usually the high growth stocks in the market. We can go back to them again. So technology, we got our communications, things like that. Those things start coming back up. Y'all saw earlier, Apple, I think, came down as low as 172. But it's back up to that 179. So if you bought it at that bottom today, you made, $7 a share profit. Microsoft I think Microsoft stayed pretty steady. It came down early morning, but it stayed pretty steady. And these are just some of the things that we saw. Let's check. Crypto. Even crypto came back. Crypto was booming. I mean, crypto came back and it did its thing today. After, of course, it rose with the market. After the Fed's decision and Jerome Powell spoke, man, everything started going green. So, with that news, on tomorrow is Thursday. I think we can expect to see some positive movement. So let me show y'all my account again, just so y'all see. This was a heavy dip. I was up, came all the way down here, down $1,100 at $1,200 at one point, and back up. Ended on the positive side. So that's good. Most of the stocks and most of the companies I'm in came back up. They pulling out of this rut that we've been in since last Friday. So that's what when I tell y'all about paper losses, that's what I mean, right? So we knew since Friday, if I would have been afraid what was gonna happen, I'd have sold low. I'd have sold out and I'd have been down that $1,200 because I locked in those losses. But I held. As long-term investing, swing traders, we hold until we see a good point. So our exit point, remember I talk to y'all all the time, entry and exit. I entered where I wanted to, and now I'm waiting on my exit. So my prices came down, my stocks were getting bottomed out. I was down $1,200 today alone, and it all came back. It all came back in a matter of 30 minutes. Jerome Powell got on TV, he started talking to the people, and immediately I was back in the money and up by $200 for the day. So those are the things that we talk about when we say paper losses. If you invest in a good company, even if it comes down, you can usually expect that company to come back up unless there is some bad or negative news. If there is negative news, you may want to consider looking for your way out or averaging down so that you can make, it takes less money on a less move back up in order for you to get back into profit and get out of those companies. So right now we're not worried about averaging down so much, but if you're new, you just got in last week, the past 2 weeks since we've been talking about this stuff, whether it's crypto or the stocks or any of that, you probably coming out on top today, and probably hopefully for the rest of the week. So we got this positive news 2 hours before market close. 2 hours, we went from being down 5% to being up 1%. So that just shows you the potential that's in the market for the next 2 days. So we have Thursday and Friday. So I'm not saying that it's going to be positive tomorrow or Friday, but there is positive news, which is usually a catalyst for green, which means we're going to make some money in the market. Even crypto. We saw crypto was down earlier today. Crypto is back up. Crypto came from being down, and I'm talking about Bitcoin. It was down negative 2 point. I can show you guys. Bitcoin was down negative 2.87%, and it came all the way back up, and now it's up 1.44%. So again, let's look at the time on this thing. This joker was all the way down here at 10 a.m. At 10 a.m. it was all the way down there. At 8:05, it came all the way back up to this $48,000 mark. So let's see what that's in math. $2,000 gain on the price, $2,300 gain on the price. So that's good, right? So imagine seeing that potential for the remainder of the week. If we bought our Bitcoin at the 47, 46.5 range that I discussed, I want to say earlier last week or this week, we got some potential, right? We got potential to see another 1 to 2% going into Thursday and Friday. One thing I will say about crypto and NFTs, they tend to move at night because unlike the stock market, they're not locked in between the hours of 8:30 and 3. Crypto can be traded at any time of the day, all week, 24/7. You can trade crypto. So we had to watch it, right? Bitcoin or any of these other cryptos could wake up at 10 o'clock tonight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and been done ran to the moon and be on its way back down by the time some of us wake up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. So that's one thing we're going to be aware of, one thing we're going to watch for. But as of right now, we got some good news. Everything is going back up. We talked about service now last night, sitting at 624. And now it's back at 647. If you jumped in that a little bit of, if you bought one share, you would be up $24 today, right? On that one share. Imagine if you bought $100. If you bought 10, you know what I'm saying? It just keeps going that way. So that's just one of those things where, where we saw potential, where we could have made money. If we bought options today when things were going down, but again, we didn't try and predict the market. We watched our trends. We played it safe, so we didn't lose any money. We lost a little bit early in the day, but we didn't lose any hard money. We came back up. So hopefully tomorrow we can make some purchases. We keep, if y'all find some companies y'all want to get the technicals on. One of my buddies, every day he's been investing. He's been, hitting me up. Hey, what you think about this company? I think today we reviewed Disney. We reviewed AT&T. We reviewed Fiverr. Those are some companies that we reviewed yesterday and today. So you guys do your homework and y'all see if those are companies y'all want to get into. Now, although they are more expensive companies, let's not forget that Webull and Robinhood both support fractional shares. So we can put $100 in there. Also, yesterday we discussed consistency. Tomorrow's Thursday. Friday is coming up. Don't forget to keep adding money into your account. Let's make sure that you add money, whether you invest it or not. Make sure you add it so when that time comes, we're ready. We're not waiting. So we're ready to jump into play. We're ready to take us some profits. We're ready to, multiply our money by whatever percentage we can get. So, yeah. So if y'all see anything we want to review, anything we want to talk about for tomorrow, we got our good news. We got some positive catalysts for the remainder of the week at least. Hopefully there's no bad news following this positive catalyst, and we can make some money, at least going into the end of the year. Oh, not to mention the end of the year. Every year, well, most years, my camera's looking a little blurry. I'm going to wipe it off for real quick, y'all. Most years, around the end of the year, the last week or two of December, and I want to say the first couple of days in January, they have the Santa rally. Stock prices go sky high. And I tell people this all the time. It's not because of retail investors like us, the small people. It's the companies themselves. You got to think about it. At the end of the year, these companies have to report their income and their profitability to the IRS, just like we had to report all our income taxes. They pump their own company stock up in order to take profits and have small people like me and you go in chasing those highs. Well, we know we spoke it in low. They have us chasing those highs. Stock prices run up. So they're going to push their own stocks up around that time normally. Again, we're not trying to predict it. We're looking at historical data. They pump those prices up. Prices get higher than they usually been. And they tend to cool off. But that last week or two in December and the first few days in January, it's called the Santa rally. So we can look for some positive gain. And we're really close to that. We got a week, 2 weeks from that. So, hey, if you guys buy anything that you're looking for, if you're looking for, make sure you check your technicals. This is the time to get in. This is the time to get in. So we're going to hope that we have a positive Santa rally. Hopefully that the market keeps going green for the next few days. Hopefully the next few weeks, because Lord knows we've been beat down for the past 5 days, the past week or two. So we got this positive news. We got the Santa rally coming. Crypto going back up, looking good. So hopefully y'all tomorrow we'll make some money. I'm going to post this video. Y'all leave me any questions in the comments. Y'all be sure to like the video and share it with your friends. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.